degrees. Can't ask for better football weather in the city of Cleveland. This time of year, the dog pound is in full effect. And we are just about ready. The Browns have won the toss. They defer, and so the Raiders will have the football to start. Cleveland beaten in Jacksonville last Sunday 24-6. And the Raiders defeated by Arizona last Sunday. There's Tony Sparano, third appearance since taking over as the interim head coach for the fired Dennis Allen. And his counterpart and former coaching mate with the New York Jets a couple of years back, Mike Pettin. His first season as Cleveland's head coach. We'll get into their story as this one goes on. C.J. Carey takes a knee, and that is how we get things started. Derek Carr, the second-round draft selection, onto the field. 8 touchdown passes. Already has tied him for the Raiders' rookie record. Matt McGloin, who was a starter for them late last season. And Carr, they've only sacked him, Solomon, 4 times all season. They've protected him very, very well. And
part of it is his high football IQ. It's what I was talking about. His ability to read the pressure, read the blitzes, and get rid of the ball quickly has helped with those numbers and helped to eliminate some of the sacks.
First and 10, play action. Sold it well. Carr going to throw on the run. Completes. Andre Holmes, who's had some big moments for the Raiders over the last couple of weeks. 16 yards and a first down. Gabe Jackson, a rookie starter, 23 years of age out of Mississippi State, has played all 359 snaps so far for the Raiders. James Jones coming over from Green Bay. Long, successful run with the Packers, 7 years. Member of that Super Bowl winning team back in 2010. First and 10 after the pass play from just inside the 35. Draw play, McFadden getting downhill. He's so tough to bring down. Another first down as he bulldozes his way inside Cleveland territory. A burst of 16. Ataba Rubin, they were fearful that he would need season-ending ankle surgery early this week. He is back after missing the last 2 weeks. Carlos Dansby, their stud inside, free agent acquisition from Arizona. And the back end to Sean Gibson last Sunday. 2 interceptions as he leads them in that category. What a season he has had so far. 4 picks on the season. 2 plays, 2 first downs, first and 10 from the 50. Pitch to McFadden inside the 45. And Solomon, what a start for this Oakland offense. We know that the Browns' defense against the run has been awful.
And you can see clearly the Raiders come in here today wanting to run the football against this Cleveland Brown defense, ranked dead last at defending the run in the National Football League. They were gashed 1 week ago by the Jacksonville Jaguars, and you can see today the game plan is simple. Derek Carr wants to lean on the run game, get Darren McFadden going, and then go with the play action pass down the field.
Well, the hope is that the return of Rubin would help shore up that rushing defense. Not the case early in this game. Fullback Reese in motion, second and short. Going to throw it near side. It's complete. Another first down. Kenbrell Tompkins coming over after he was claimed off waivers from the New England Patriots. 5 yards and another first down.
Yeah, Tompkins is just going to work right in front of Joe Hayden. Turns out, and you can see, ball out quickly from Derek Carr. He has the ability to throw the ball with great velocity and great accuracy. And I think he does a really good job of reading NFL defenses so early in his rookie career. It's a wildcat.
Darren McFadden lines up, takes the snap, fakes the end around, hit as he releases. It's a fluttering ball, and Oakland dodges a bullet. Late penalty marker coming in. So Carr split out at the top of your picture. Let's see what the penalty is here.
Looks like the defender went to hit the quarterback, who was Derek Carr, lined up as a wide receiver. Ball was up in the air. Instead of playing the ball, he went and hit Derek Carr.
There is no foul in the play for pass interference. It's an incomplete pass. Second down.
I think they're going to see, there he is, right here, right at the top. And you can see he's going to go out for a pass. Now watch Buster Screen. He gets back. Watch it go hit him. He grabs him. But here, going to say that this was not a catchable pass from Darren McFadden in the Wildcat. The ball just flutters. And had Buster Skrine been in position, he could have intercepted that pass.
Maurice Jones-Drew into the game for the first time. High formation set behind Reese. 2nd and 10. Here's Jones-Drew, the NFL's rushing champion back in 2011, and he is going backwards. Paul Kruger getting the push off the edge. They dump him for a loss of 4.
Well, Kruger does a really good job of setting the edge. And talking to Jim O'Neill, the defensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns, look, he just wants to come up, set the edge, and turn the ball back inside. Now watch him get up the field. You can't get around the edge. Comes off, makes a tackle. Getting off blocks is going to be essential. That's what the defensive coordinator, Jim O'Neill, talked about, and you saw an example of it on that play from Paul Kruger.
Carr from the gun on 3rd and 14. They protect him well, completes over the middle, well short of the first down. James Jones on the reception. Pick up only 3. And Oakland will send out its punt team. Joe Hayden on the coverage. And the Cleveland defense able to get off the field.
Now they were able to get off the field because they were able to stop the run from Darren McFadden.
And now they're going to bring out the field goal team and try a long kick with Sebastian Janikowski, who's been so good. You see his long on the season of 53 yards, former Pro Bowler. And now they change their mind. Second little trick play. Quarterback is Matt Schaub. He bobbles it. Going to take a shot down the field, and it is intercepted. Picked off by guess who? It's Gibson again. Gibson still going inside the 45, inside Oakland territory, and finally brought down by Brian Leonard, the backup tight end. There is a penalty marker down right at the 50-yard line. 33 yards on the return, so Gibson, who had 2 picks last week, with an enormous early play for the Cleveland defense.
Well, Matt Schaub just panicked. You know, he dropped the snap from center, and then he became disoriented and just threw the ball up for grabs, and Tashaun Gibson made him pay for it.
First official pass that Schaub has thrown with the Raiders. So a couple of early gambles by Tony Sperano and the Raiders, and they backfire.
There is no foul on the play for a horse collar tackle. It is Cleveland's ball. First down.
Sally, you're 0-6. Why not take a chance? But boy, that one backfired right from the start.
Well, I think it was a good call by the Raiders. They're in plus territory. It was poor execution by the backup quarterback, Matt Schaub.
So the Cleveland Browns with their first possession. Couple of minutes in, still scoreless. Schaub picked by Gibson. Cleveland will take over next. Well, think of the top defensive backs in the NFL. Tashaun Gibson's name may not come into your mind, but it should, as you see where he stands. Most picks in the NFL over the last 2 years. So first offensive possession, short field for Hoyer. Completes his first pass. Far side, it's Andrew Hawkins. Career high 112 yards receiving, back to the pick.
Let's take a look at the play. It's going to be Michael Rivera. He's going to come here all the way around, but see, Schaub, he doesn't really see anyone in center field. He should see Tashaun Gibson, but he doesn't. Of the poor snap, he becomes disoriented. He loses his frame of reference, throws the ball up for grab, and look at the range. And then the ball skills of Tashaun Gibson come down with the interception. Excellent defensive play by Gibson.
14-yard pass play makes it 1st and 10 inside the 35. Hoyer protected over the middle. It is incomplete and nearly picked. Excellent coverage by Brandon Ross, making the start for Usama Young. Went down with injury, and obviously Schaub upset. Maybe with the play call, if you can read lips.
Well, doesn't mean you had to throw it. If he's not covered, then you can't throw it. It doesn't mean you have to throw it up for an interception. Just have to have better execution.
Tight end Cameron in motion, 2nd and 10. Pitch play. This is Ben Tate. Trying to get to the edge. And the Raiders hold Carlos Rogers coming up from his cornerback position to make the tackle. So here is Brian Hoyer. Worst game as a Brown last week. Still only 2 interceptions, Solomon, on the season, and you see his record now, only his 6th start with Cleveland.
And I think what Hoyer has to do is prove that he can make plays when the run game struggles. Everything that he's been able to do, at least a lot of his success has come off play-action passes. You take a look at Johnny Manziel. He's got to protect the football, use the run game, but in those critical moments, he's got to make positive plays.
6th start at home for Hoyer, 10th start overall. Hoyer, 3rd and 10 over the middle. It is incomplete. Cameron had it, unable to corral it. And on 4th down, kicking team will come on the field.
Yeah, Jordan Cameron in the slot, matched up against the linebacker, C.O. Moore. Look, you got to make this catch. You know, Hoyer, we talked about him needing to perform and do his job. Well, you've got to reward your quarterback when he throws the ball on time, accurately. Jordan Cameron normally come down with those. Former Pro Bowl player from 1 year ago.
Already you've seen the Raiders line up for a long field goal. They faked it. And now Billy Cundiff will try from 52 yards out. Wings dive down here right at the perfect moment. This one has the distance, and it is good. Gorgeous kick by Cundiff as Hoyer and company take advantage of the short field and take the early lead. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Verizon XLTE on America's largest, most reliable 4G LTE network.
Gorgeous pictures downtown Cleveland on this Sunday in late October. Our fabulous CBS crew with us. Spiro Dedes, Solomon Wilcots. 52-yard field goal by Billy Cundiff. And the Browns trying to get back in the win column. Take the early lead at 3-0. Browns 3-3, Oakland 0-6. 6 losses to start the year. They've dropped 12 straight dating back to last season. TJ Carey trying to make something happen, and he is hit hard right around the 10-yard line. K1 Williams making the hit, and a fabulous special teams play. 3-0, you're watching the NFL on CBS. Oh, it's back on August the 7th. LeBron James, of course, back in Cleveland, a member of the Cavaliers. Brought his kids to Browns practice, showed off his arm. We know he was a prize football star in Akron. Chance to catch up with Johnny Manziel, and LeBron in the house today in Cleveland. 3-0 Browns, second offensive possession for Derek Carr and the Raiders. Draw play, McFadden, as he is brought down after a pickup of about 3 at the 19-yard line. Solomon, a slimmed-down version of LeBron James.
Yeah, he's made Cleveland the cool place to be, has he not? He's like that one-man economic stimulus package to the region. Everyone is happy to have LeBron James back here in the Cleveland area.
And listen, if there's one fan base in this country that deserves something like this, it is the fans in Cleveland, starved for something positive. Certainly with that franchise. Maurice Jones-Drew back into the game. Darren McFadden lined up top of your picture on 2nd and 5. McFadden watches as Jones-Drew takes the carry across the 20 and brought down at the 23-yard line. Tony Sparano saying this week he wanted to get Jones-Drew, Solomon, a little bit more involved. Till this point, he's been a non-factor. He did miss a couple of games with a fractured hand.
Well, we talk about it. They're playing with a rookie quarterback, but yet they average more passing in terms of the percentage of plays than any other team in the National Football League, and they're averaging fewer rushing attempts than any other team in the National Football League. And it's not what you want for a rookie quarterback.
Hey, Ricky! Set!
3rd and 2. Over the middle, first down hookup. Michael Rivera, the second-year tight end, 8 yards and another Oakland first down.
Yeah, Ricky, you could hear Derek Carr calling out the protection. I mean, they want to slide to the right, and you're going to see, look, they slide the protection to the right, and here's Rivera coming over to the right. So they throw behind the blitz. They wanted to set the protection, and I can't tell you how impressed I am with Derek Carr to be such a rookie quarterback early in his career and still having great command of his football team, great command on how to handle blitz protection so that he protects himself from getting sacked.
180! What's up?
1st and 10 from the 32. Play action, Carr all day to throw. McFadden hit on the catch And the officials say incomplete. Excellent coverage by Craig Robertson. Let's get you to New York and an update. Bart and JB.
Steelers answer back.
Oh, yeah, Ben Roethlisberger is going to find Marcus Wheaton on the out and up for the 18-yard TD. Pittsburgh responds 7-3. First touchdown given up by Indy in the first quarter all year.
Spiro, I bet you Solomon could take LeBron James one-on-one.
I don't know about that, JB. He's got a little height on me. Just a little bit.
Officials want to spot the football on the opposite far side hash. Don't sell yourself short. Some hoop skills.
6'8", got a little bit hoop skills, but last I checked, he's the best on the planet, is he not?
You're good for a couple of points.
I appreciate your confidence.
McFadden long setback. 2nd and 10, fake the handoff and get the pressure right in his face. He completes to Rivera nonetheless. What a play by Carr with the rusher coming right in his face. And Solomon, he hasn't had to deal with much pressure this season.
Yeah, coming off that left side, his right side, the left side of the defense, he's able to get rid of it. Rivera did not catch it cleanly. Barkevius Mingo was the guy who was able to get to Carr, but had he caught it cleanly, I think he would have had a catch and run and could have gotten to the first down marker before Dante Whitner is able to get him out of bounds.
What do the Raiders do here on 3rd and 1? They need to get to the 42. Over the middle, it's incomplete. Otaba Rubin getting his fingertip on it, and the Raiders will punt.
And I think if Otaba Rubin hadn't tipped it, looked like Carlos Dansby, watch number 56, he's right behind it. He may have had an interception. But they're crowding the pocket. There you see Rubin, number 71, was able to tip it, but 56, Dansby was in great position in coverage on the back end.
Rubin hurting his ankle in practice 2 weeks ago, missed the last 2 games. As Marquette King, the 3rd-year punter, on to boot it away. Jim Leonard back deep, signals fair catch. And this one takes a Cleveland bounce. Raiders will mark it down at around the 28. Only a 33-yard punt by King. 3-0 Cleveland. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Wendy's Barbecue Pulled Pork, served 3 tasty ways. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
This is everyday wear.
Well, it's not Halloween yet, but they come here dressed for a party no matter what the date is. 1st and 10, Hoyer in this offense back onto the field. Tate met by a silver and black wall behind the line of scrimmage as he loses a couple. Nick McDonald making his first appearance as a Browns' 2nd full game for Cleveland since the season-ending injury to their Pro Bowl center, Alex Mack. Had all kinds of issues with their line last Sunday. Andrew Hawkins, who mentioned the career-high 112 yards receiving last Sunday in the loss, is their #1 receiver. As the Browns trying to build on a 3-0 lead with just over 6 minutes left in this first quarter. Ben Tate lines up split out. Bottom of your picture on 2nd and 11. Quick pass. He's thrown to Gabriel. Catch and run across the 45. Gabriel making something happen. Still on his feet and finally brought down at around the 25-yard line. Benson Mayoya got him from the back. 49-yard catch and run from Taylor Gabriel.
And I got to tell you, John Greco, who started at center 1 week ago, today, take a look at this block right here. This is what you want. That gets him going. Had to get Gabriel to the 2nd level. Excellent block. And look, Joe Petonio, 75 down the field blocking as well.
Mayoya with the touchdown-saving tackle from the back. As Ben Tate, again, unable to make something happen. Justin Tuck inactive last Sunday with a knee injury. Back in the fold. C.J. Wilson making his 2nd straight start. Lamar Woodley out for the season. Khalil Mack, the 5th overall pick. Stud linebacker on the outside. And the back end, Carlos Rogers banged up with a knee injury. DJ Hayden, their 2nd-year corner, is active today for the first time this season. Is expected to play in a backup role. Hoyer from the gun on 2nd and 10. Tate splits out bottom of your screen. Hoyer's pass is incomplete. Back to New York in an update. JB and Bart.
30-yard reception by Larry Fitzgerald. Key play.
Oh, punctuated by Andre Ellington. Straight ahead, no fair dodging. Arizona responds 7-all.
Spiro and my all-around athlete friend, Solomon Wilcots.
Oh, JB probably could take on LeBron James. You know he's a great basketball player at Harvard, right?
Yes, I do.
He is a legend in his own right.
3rd and 10. Tate the long setback. As we move on to 5 minutes left in the quarter. Hoyer over the middle. It is caught. Miles Austin, penalty marker thrown a couple of feet behind where Austin caught the football. 9-yard pass play. Ron Torbert, our referee.
Before the pass, holding, defense, number 27, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So it's on Carlos Rogers and Brian Hoyer, Solomon, who has had so many issues last couple of weeks with his inaccurate passing, finds his man for the first down.
Well, I love the play calling early on in this game by the coordinator, Kyle Shanahan. You saw the wide receiver screen to Taylor Gabriel. They're getting the run game going, and Hoyer's in a rhythm right now.
1st and 10, pitch to Tate. Early on, this Oakland Raiders defensive front doing its job, and that has been a major Achilles heel for them so far this season as Pettine looks on.
And remember, they're without their Pro Bowl center and Alex Mack. You mentioned it. Nick McDonald starting today. They moved Greco back. He had started at center 1 week ago. They're moving back to guard. I think instead of it affecting 2 positions, they would rather just have to cover for 1 in Nick McDonald.
You saw Kyle Shanahan, Ben Tate, 4 carries for -2 yards, and they push him back again. C.O. Moore, the outside linebacker in his 2nd season, getting there first. Loss of 4.
Well, let's show you what's going on because they run that zone scheme. It's a zone stretch. But watch how they're able to get penetration across the face of the offensive lineman. If you can get into the backfield, look at the push by the white jersey. See all the penetration? You got 3 defenders in the backfield against Ben Tate. And we talked to Tate in terms of how are you patient with this blocking scheme as opposed to wanting to attack the line of scrimmage. He said it's something that you just have to stick with as the game goes on, and hopefully we can pop one.
This is where the Raiders have been especially bad on 3rd down. Here is Tate out of the backfield. Well short of the first down marker needed to get to the 9. This Oakland defense, worst 3rd down defense in the NFL since they started tracking the stat, Solly, in 1972. 52.9% of the time they allow the first down, but that time they do their job.
Yeah, they're able to get off the field. You're right, 52.9%. Tony Sparano talks about it and said, hey, we need more offensive snaps, but I mean getting off the field on 3rd down defensively.
Cundiff hit from 52 earlier, this time from 33. And once again, Cundiff is perfect. Early field position battle so far, won by Cleveland. Cundiff wasn't even looking. 6-0 Cleveland. Oh, with NFL Mobile, stream live local Sunday afternoon, primetime games, and NFL Red Zone right on your mobile device. Learn more at NFL.com/mobile. Spiro Dedes, Solomon Wilcots, our entire CBS crew from Cleveland. Week 8, couple of Billy Cundiff field goals, one from 52, one from 33. And that's where we stand, 6-0 Cleveland. As Carey takes a knee in the back of the end zone. Derek Carr, the 2nd-round quarterback, back onto the field, 0-6 start. But boy, Solomon, you wouldn't know it when he walks into the room. We had a chance to meet with him yesterday. There's nothing about this young man that would lead you to think, A, he's a rookie, and B, he's the quarterback of an 0-6 team.
Yeah, we talked about it. We said his maturity and overall football readiness, it does exceed, I think, his status as a rookie quarterback. I think he learned a lot from his older brother, David Carr, a former 1st overall pick. And I think those shared experiences has helped with his growth and acceleration.
Carr hands to McFadden, trying to get downhill across the 20. Boy, one thing that David has given Derek a hard time about is that he has been much more protected early on in his NFL career. David, of course, the former first overall pick by Houston in 2002, was sacked 39 times over his first 6 NFL starts, just 4 for Derek.
And Derek Carr talked about it. He said he learned a lot from that experience. He said his brother had it tough on an expansion team. But I think his ability to get rid of the ball a lot faster and not take those hits, I think he learned from some of those shared experiences from his older brother.
Play action from Carr, 2nd and 7, taking a shot. Near side, incomplete. Trying to locate Tompkins, who already has a catch. Buster's screen was with him step for step.
Now, if you're Kimbrel Tompkins, you can't allow screen to go ahead and cut you off from this throw. So you've got to stack what we call get on top of the receiver. Run and get on top. But see how he allows screen 22 to cut him off and disrupt the timing and did not allow him to arrive where the ball was coming in. And if you're Tompkins, you've got to be able to stem that route and get in front of the defender to attack the football.
3rd and 7 from just inside the 23. Play whistle dead. Penalty marker thrown back in the secondary. Here's trouble.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
I think the crowd noise is starting to get in the way of the young quarterback trying to bark out signals. Clearly, the defense was disguising their intent to blitz, and it sort of delayed the process for Derek Carr trying to set the tempo and set his protections up front. The crowd here at this stadium can get really loud, particularly in this end down where the dog pound exists.
3rd and 12 after the penalty. They protect Carr over the middle. It's complete. Andre Holmes, late marker, comes in right around the 30-yard line. 6-yard pass play. And this one appears to be against Oakland.
Pass interference. Offense. Number 81 blocking downfield. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
That's the tight end Rivera. So far, Oakland offensively, Solomon unable to get anything going.
Yeah, penalties have also been a problem for the Raiders. All of those things that plague teams that have a poor record, you see creeping up for the Raiders. It's something that Tony Sparano, who's now coaching his 3rd game as their head coach, he wants to be able to address it, wants to be able to make changes. Only so much you can do in a short period of time.
Marquette King. 2nd punt, high kick, good looking boot, fielded by Benjamin. Benjamin getting to the outside across the 30, hard block as they try to clear a runway for Benjamin, run out of bounds at around the 35-yard line. A 53-yard punt by King. Coming up this week, Thursday Night Football moving to NFL Network exclusively, an NFC South clash between the Saints and the Panthers. Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, live on NFL Network. Cam Newton, Drew Brees, 2 quarterbacks will be on the marquee on Thursday night. 1st and 10, Hoyer and company back onto the field just outside the 35. Terrence West onto the field for the first time. A couple of fakes. Hoyer deep down the middle of the field has his man. It is nearly picked. Woodson had it, and what a recovery by Benjamin, who made a pretty good play to break up the pick.
Well, Benjamin was wide open on this play. He's going to be at the top. He's going to come across the face of Woodson, and that ball, it has to be thrown somewhere in that area where Travis Benjamin can get it. Look, the ball doesn't go to Benjamin. It goes more to the safety, Charles Woodson.
West with a short pickup, able to run close to the 40, and that's been an issue for Hoyer, Solomon. Very inaccurate over the last 2 games.
Particularly on the deep balls. He had Benjamin open. I think the play was set up and designed perfectly by the coordinator, Kyle Shanahan. Had an opportunity to connect on one that was nearly intercepted. But if you're Hoyer, you have to take advantages of those shot plays down the field.
Hoyer over his last 2 games just 24 of 58. Last Sunday was 16 of 41 in the loss in Jacksonville. Hoyer's pass far side is caught. Tough catch by Cameron. It's going to be short of the first down. Excellent play by Charles Woodson, who has found the fountain of youth.
Wow.
18th, make it 17th NFL season. Solomon is their leading tackler.
That's an excellent play by Woodson. You can tell his experience paid off. He diagnosed the play perfectly.
That takes us to the end of the first quarter. Cleveland in front of Oakland, 6-0. We'll return to Cleveland after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Spencer landing on to punt as we welcome you back to Cleveland. Start of the second quarter, 6-0 Browns. Spiro Dedes, Solomon Wilcots. Temperatures in the mid to low 50s right at kickoff as that sun starts to set there in Cleveland. Landing the second-year punter. Trying to pin him back inside the 20. Unable to do so. Takes a Raiders bounce into the end zone. Tomorrow on CBS, a great night for comedy, beginning with the season premiere of Two Broke Girls, followed by a new episode of The Millers. It all starts tomorrow, 8/7 Central, only CBS. So Derek Carr and this Oakland offense, Solomon, shut out in that first quarter. Still looking for their first points. And this time, we'll start from their own 20. Raiders at 0-6, worst start for their franchise in more than a half century. 12 straight losses, longest skid since 1961-62 when they lost 19 straight. Jones drew across the 20. Pick up of a couple as we go back to New York and an update with JB and Bart.
Steelers scoring defense.
Andrew Luck drops back looking for Knicks. Rudy William Gay says, Andrew, your Luck's run out. 40 returns it 2 touchdowns in 41 seconds. Pittsburgh up 21-3. William Gay, 33 yards.
Back to Spiro.
All right, guys, we've seen the Steelers already a couple of times as Jones drew against Stuffed. Ball came out loose, but after he made contact with the ground, so the Raiders will have it. And it'll be faced with a 3rd and long coming up.
They're starting to get their safeties up close to the line of scrimmage. Look, Dante Whitner's coming. He's making plays. He's been a huge impact on this football team. Even Tashawn Gibson has talked about the influence that Whitner's had in his leadership. And the same from Jim Leonard. This secondary in Cleveland, a much improved group in 2014.
Whitner, the Cleveland native, coming home, signing that free agent deal after leaving the 49ers in the offseason. 3rd and 5 from inside the 25. Carr again, all day to throw. Over the middle, he's got Jones. First down, out past the 35. As Jones quickly becoming Carr's favorite target, 13 yards and an Oakland first down.
And why wouldn't he? Remember, James Jones went to San Jose State. Go ahead and roll it. You're going to see him off the right side of the screen, and he'll come across right there. See on the right side, then just a little check down for Carr, who's able to find him coming across the formation, working underneath. But, you know, James Jones and Derek Carr, they had a relationship going back to when Carr was at Fresno State in college.
1st and 10. End around play. This is Tompkins coming back across the 40, lunges forward to the 45-yard line. Jones's college receivers coach at San Jose State was a gentleman by the name of Keith Williams. He went to Fresno State when Derek Carr was the starter there, so he invited Jones to work out with the college players, and that's when Carr was there. They would throw together, and they built a very close bond from that point on.
And end up on the same team, Derek Carr's rookie season. And, you know, James Jones comes over as a free agent from Green Bay. He calls Carr Baby A-Rod, referring to Aaron Rodgers, the star quarterback in Green Bay.
2nd and 3, Jones-Drew. Just the most we've seen him for this Oakland offense. Jones-Drew, we mentioned the 2 games missed with the fractured hand earlier in the season. Only 48 yards rushing on the season, Solomon, entering this game today.
Yeah, they don't average a lot of rushing attempts. We talk about comparing Derek Carr, the baby A-Rod, to Aaron Rodgers. They're giving him a lot of opportunities to throw the football. But even Tony Sparano has talked about it. We've got to get back to having more balance on offense, giving Darren McFadden, Maurice Jones-Drew more opportunities to run it. They believe the offense will begin to improve if they can run the ball more effectively and more efficiently.
Jones-Drew coming out to measure. Needed to get right at the 48-yard line for the first down. They're going to be inches short. Solomon mentioned earlier they have thrown highest percentage of the NFL, and that ground game, Solomon, just has not produced very much.
Okay, this is historically bad in the National Football League and in Oakland Raiders history. One of the lowest yards per game in Oakland Raiders history, averaging under 70 rushing yards per game during the 2014 season.
They need inches. Jamize Olawale, not sure he got it. Cleveland got the push that they wanted up front. Keep in mind, they have been the worst run defensive team in the NFL. And we'll see where the officials spot it. And they appear to be short. Had to get to the 48. I'm not sure they got back to the original line of scrimmage.
And watch Whitner. He knifes in. He just creeps up into the A-gap, number 31. He's able to get to the legs of the runner and get the tackle. They don't get him blocked. They simply do not get him blocked.
Well, they speak about Whitner with such deference here, as they rightfully should. 2-time Pro Bowler. They're short again. 4th and inches. Sally, what do you do here if you're Oakland?
I think you got to play the battle of field position. You're only down 6-0. Remember, they've already elected not to kick the field goal when they had an opportunity. They go for it. Matt Schaub throws the interception. You play and try to win the battle of field position, because this Cleveland Browns offense, they haven't been red hot. Go ahead and allow your defense to try to get a stop, and maybe you can win the battle of field position here.
Jim Leonard back deep from his own 10. And King on to punt. They've already faked it once. Fair catch signaled by Leonard. And catches at around his own 13-yard line. 40-yard punt from King. Browns run defense finally able to hold. Timeout. Sparano in that offensive huddle. Raiders trying to get some things figured out, as Cleveland pitching a shutout to this point. 6-0 with 11 and change left in his first half. Hoyer over the middle finds Cameron. Past the 30, first down Cleveland, 18 yards. Hoyer to the tight end Cameron.
It was a real good play action fake. And that's how they're able to get him to the next level. Look, play fake over the middle. Linebackers move up to the line of scrimmage, leaving an area open on the back end. Jordan able to haul that one in. Jordan Cameron from Brian Hoyer.
Cameron missed the Week 2 game with a shoulder injury. First-time Pro Bowler last season, second among tight ends in the NFL in receiving yards. This is West. Across the 35, falls forward at around the 37-yard line. Cleveland entered last Sunday's game 3rd in the league in rushing, didn't run well, and that's carried over Sally today.
Yeah, their offensive line is allowing penetration. Look, a white jersey in the backfield of the Cleveland Browns, the running back, Bente, and others have no chance of getting back to the line of scrimmage. They've got to seal off that wall and allow the runner to get to the second level.
Raiders coming on the blitz, and they got to West again. C.O. Moore coming right over center. Now keep in mind, this is the second full game since the season-ending injury to Alex Mack, Pro Bowl center. You don't lose a guy of his caliber, Sally, and recover very quickly. But boy, they didn't expect it to be this much of a struggle.
Yeah, and some of this really is about what the defense is doing. And right now what you're seeing is these Oakland Raiders, they understand that Cleveland have to be able to run the football. We talked about it at the beginning of the game. You're blitzing the run if you're the Oakland Raiders, getting the linebackers up to the line of scrimmage and shooting the gaps.
Hoyer, 3rd and 6. Near side, it's caught. That's Hawkins. Pushed out of bounds at around the 44-yard line. 7-yard pass play and a Cleveland first down.
I think it's critical if you're Hoyer. When you have these short throws, you've got to be very accurate. Putting the ball on your receiver, allowing them to haul it in. Hawkins was able to do it. We saw the play action pass to Jordan Cameron. Right now, Hoyer's starting to get into rhythm.
Hoyer, 6 of 10, 96 yards passing. I formation set. As the whistle is blown. Looks like a timeout. No signal from the officials. Looks like the Browns are going to take a timeout.
First charge timeout. Oakland.
Or the Raiders.
This is a 30-second timeout.
Didn't like how they were set up defensively. 6-0 Cleveland. Under 9 left before halftime. You're watching the NFL on CBS. 1st and 10 after the Oakland timeout. Hoyer play action. Fires over the middle. It's caught. And another Cleveland first down to Andrew Hawkins. The leading receiver, 17 yards. Is Hoyer now starting to find a rhythm?
Yeah, he's finding it with play-action pass. Kyle Shanahan understands his quarterback. Hoyer's at his best when the run game's working. And so is the play-action pass. And Hawkins is the guy that's been the #1 target in this offense. Take a look at it in terms of where he ranks. But yet, to have a touchdown reception all season long. But boy, is he the go-to guy on all other downs.
Following up his 112-yard performance last Sunday, 38 yards so far today, and Terrence West ducks inside the 40, pickup of a couple. Back to New York in an update with JB and Bart.
Bart, you knew Andrew Luck would answer back.
Oh, yes, and he did, finding Dwayne Allen up the seam for the 21-yard touchdown. Allen, 6th of the year. Colts close the gap, 10-21.
Back to Spiro and Solomon.
Yeah, JB, Andrew Luck's not shy about going back up top, even after getting intercepted. You love the way that he's just aggressive at attacking the defense.
Colts looking for his 6th consecutive win. Here's Hoyer. He's hit his last 4 passes. Over the middle. What a leaping grab by Cameron, and boy, did he pay the price. And could we see a defensive penalty on the hit? 22 yards as Cameron sacrifices his body.
Boy, he did lay out for that one. And then he took a hit as he was coming down to catch the ball. Looks like Brandy and Ross.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense. Number 29, high hit to a defenseless player. It's half the distance from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Can't lead to the head. He's certainly in a defenseless position. And there's the shot to the head from Ross.
Cameron, as we mentioned earlier, already missed the game this season with a shoulder injury. As the Browns trainers taking a look at their star tight end. 7:31 to play. Cleveland threatening in front, 6-0.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Best Buy, New York Life Insurance Company, and by the all-new 2015 Acura TLX. It's that kind of thrill.
Browns tight end Jordan Cameron being escorted into the Cleveland locker room. We'll try to get an update as quickly as we can. 1st and goal meantime. Browns trying to add to the 6-0 lead. West wrapped up, and they continue to struggle with that ground game. Khalil Mack, 5th overall pick in May's NFL draft, getting there first.
Jordan Cameron, take another look at that hit from Ross. Right there, see to the head. That's what we've got to clean up. You know, there's a culture change in the National Football League, trying to take those collisions out of the game when a player's in that defenseless position. I think it just lends itself to better safety in the National Football League.
9th play of the drive. Hoyer, 2nd and goal, under pressure. Wisely threw it out of bounds. Justin Ellis was right there. I'm not sure Hoyer saw him.
No, he did at the last minute because he was running for his life. Watch 78, Justin Ellis right in his face. And see, right now he senses, feels it. Did a good job of just getting rid of the football. He can't afford to take a sack there. And risk being knocked out of field goal position. So once you're able to roll out of the pocket, you can simply throw it away without getting the intentional grounding penalty.
What does Kyle Shanahan dial up here, the 34-year-old offensive coordinator? Wow. Terrence West lines up top of your picture, and that play whistled dead before it snapped.
False start. Offense, number 82, 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
That's the tight end, Gary Barnidge, who has to come in for Cameron.
And normally, Jordan Cameron would be the target of choice down inside the red zone. So good down inside the red zone at helping this offense to put touchdowns on the board. Barnidge comes in and he jumps before the ball is snapped and moves them back. But they're not afraid to go to either tight end, Barnidge or Jim Dre, if Cameron's out of the game.
Third down, goal to go. Hoyer pressured over the middle. It's caught inside the 5. Gabriel to the 3-yard line. They're still short. 13-yard pass play. 4th and goal.
Oh, there was a collision there. Watch number 28, Terrence West, is going to flash and knock the defender in coverage. Look, right there. He throws a block against the defender, C.O. Moore, and is able to get the receiver open on this play. That's really deemed to be an illegal block downfield on a pass play. It's a pick, and some of the Raider defenders were pointing in that direction.
Chip shot from Cundiff is hit from 52 and 33. And this one automatic for Cundiff. There's a penalty marker coming in late. Busy day for the officials.
Illegal formation. Offense, number 75 was lined up in the backfield. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay 4th down.
That's Joel Bitonio, their rookie phenom, at the left guard position.
Yeah, Bitonio's the guard, left guard. There's no reason for him to be backed up off the line of scrimmage at the guard position. Oh, he's on that left side. He's actually lined up on the right side there, Spiro.
So 26-yard penalty, a 26-yard attempt after the penalty. Cundiff again. And an easy kick splits the upright. So 3 Billy Cundiff field goals are only scoring 9-0 Browns on CBS. Don't miss a moment of today's football action. The CBS Sports app now has the fastest scores. Download it now and get your scores first right on your phone. Spiro Dedes, Solomon Wilcots, our entire CBS crew from Cleveland. Week 8 AFC battle, Cleveland on the strength of 3 Billy Cundiff field goals in front 9-0 with under 6 minutes left before halftime. Longest drive for Cleveland on the day, 11 plays, 78 yards. That's stalled inside the Oakland 5. Touchback for Carr. They'll have it from the 20. Still looking for their first points.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Aflac. Ask about it at work. And by Domino's. Visit Domino's.com.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, a must-stop for any visitor to this great city of Cleveland. Short walk from where we are here for the Browns and the Raiders. Coming up tomorrow on CBS, it's a case so big these geniuses will need some help. NCIS Los Angeles' Linda Hunt guest stars on a new Scorpion tomorrow, 9/8 Central, only CBS. Can the Raiders get on the scoreboard here before halftime? Carr play action, finds the fullback Reese. Was a question mark coming in with a quad injury. We go back to New York and an update with JB.
Pittsburgh showing off.
Yeah, man, they must have heard Coach's pregame speech on the show. Antonio Brown for the 8-yard touchdown. Pittsburgh up 28-10.
Coach did say it defiantly, too, didn't he, Barton?
Yeah, he did. I'm with you when you're right, though, Coach.
Back to Spiro and Solomon.
Anytime you call a team soft, JB, they respond. Always.
McFadden trying to get to the 25-yard line. Well, you think back a couple of weeks ago, Raiders almost upset the Chargers, scored 28 points. That was the only game this season, Solomon, that they've scored better than 14 points in a game.
Yeah, it was a game where Derek Carr was red hot, 4 touchdown passes in that game. And Coach Sparano's trying to find some kind of balance, trying to integrate the running backs into the offense, get the run game going. They believe in Derek Carr. We told you he brings a lot of hope to this offensive football team. And he may have to throw it a lot here today in order for them to manufacture some offense.
Raiders just 5 first downs, looking for one here. Carr, wobbly pass, caught by Jones. Late marker comes in from the back. 12-yard pass play if it stands. And now we await the penalty.
We got a lot of flags. Almost every play. Jones still made the catch.
Before the pass was thrown, holding, defense, number 23. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
Oh, James Jones, yeah, James Jones matched up against Joe Hayden. Watch him separate right here. Now, I didn't see a hold. I didn't see jersey grab, but I did see, hand positioning by both players. I think that's one where you just got to let them play. Jones was still able to come away, separate, come down with the reception.
Third reception for Jones, just under 30 yards. 1st and 10, play action from Carr. Flushed out, finds McFadden, catches at the 40, runs out of bounds just shy of the 45. Good play by Carr under duress. Solomon, he's got such good poise for a kid his age.
Yeah, and you can see also the athleticism. I asked him, I said, what part about your game you feel is natural to the NFL? He said, really, it's my arm. Now watch that. I mean, he's got a whip on him. He can get it out quickly. He can get it out accurately. But I think his overall football IQ, to be such a young player, to understand where his receivers are and locate them, his processing, I think is playing right now at a very high level.
8-yard pass play sets up a 2nd and 2 just outside the 45. Carr pump fakes, looks over the middle, has his man, and what a catch by Rivera! One-handed, over the shoulder, just short of the 30, 21 yards on a first down.
This is incredible. It's just a really nice play, and I just like what I see here. He's lined up at the bottom of the screen in that trips formation, getting over the middle of the field. Look at the throw, where only Rivera has an opportunity to catch it, comes down with it. Nice throw from Carr.
Rivera last season flashing brilliance at times as a rookie. Enormous play to give Oakland its best field position today. Carr on 1st and 10, they pick up the blitz, and then they don't. Only the 5th sack of Carr this season. Paul Kruger able to fight through the block.
They're able to get pressure on him, and he doesn't have time to get rid of this one. He turns around, look at this. Pressure right there in his face. Didn't even sense it coming as Menelik Watson was beat on the play by Kruger.
3rd sack of the season for Kruger. Disappointing first year as a Brown last season after signing that monster free agent contract, leaving Baltimore. 2nd and 13. Carr pump fakes, looks right, completes over the middle. That's Holmes. We'll see where the officials spot the football. It's a pickup of 7. As we come up on the 2-minute warning, Raiders still with 2 timeouts in their back pocket, looking for their first points. Well, Carr has been trying all day to get him on the scoreboard. They are driving here. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Coming up, the Verizon Halftime Report will send you to New York. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowher will take you around the NFL Week 8, plus a preview of Thursday Night Football on NFL Network. That's next on the Verizon Halftime Report. Biggest offensive play of the day for Carr and the Raiders, 3rd and 5. Slings it far side. Back shoulder throw for Jones is incomplete. Justin Gilbert, the rookie, at his best performance last Sunday, breaks it up. Raiders will kick the field goal.
Now watch this. He's going to have Kimbrough Tompkins come wide open. Instead, he goes there, but he's got to stay committed to reading the defense. And right there, go ahead and stop it. You can see him wide open underneath. Right there. There's going to be Kimbrough Tompkins. Instead, he goes up top. Missed the opportunity to create a first down.
46-yard attempt by Janikowski, boots it through as he has done so many times in his 15-year career. And a 53-yarder last Sunday. And finally gets the Raiders on the board. Justin Gilbert, the 8th overall pick, with a huge defensive play. As Oakland's scoring summary, they go 53 yards, 9 plays, 46-yard kick by that man, Sebastian Janikowski, a one-time Pro Bowler and All-Pro back in 2011. Low bouncing kick, fielded by Marlon Moore in his end zone. Hoyer will have it from the 20 with a minute 50 left in this first half. Another reminder coming up next, the Verizon Halftime Report will get you to New York. All the latest scores and highlights, as well as a preview of Thursday Night Football coming up on NFL Network. It's all next on the Verizon Halftime Report. Neither team able to get into the end zone yet. 4 field goals are scoring. 9-3 Cleveland. And the Browns with all 3 timeouts left. Spiro Dedes, Solomon Wilcots, our entire CBS crew. Hoyer from the gun on 1st and 10.
Ball start. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
That's Mitchell Schwartz, the 3rd-year tackle. And neither team can just get out of its own way.
Yeah, a lot of penalties from both teams. But if you're the Cleveland Browns right now, you've got to try to manufacture some 2-minute offense, try to put points on the board before the half.
Jordan Cameron still in the Cleveland locker room left as they continue to evaluate him. That one intended for his backup Barnidge. And without Cameron, that is a huge piece in their passing game. Coverage by Rodgers.
Yeah, Barnidge on the outside coming underneath, and watch Carlos Rodgers breaks on it perfectly. Nearly had the pick. Got to be able to haul that one in defensively. These are plays that the Raiders aren't making. And that's an opportunity to come away with an interception, maybe even a pick 6, but certainly setting up your team to put more points on the board before halftime.
Cameron's return questionable at this point. He's going through the concussion protocol.
Another flag.
Another penalty marker thrown. And this one appears to be against Cleveland yet again.
Ball start. Offense, number 19. 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
Solly, some of these games have felt like it's the preseason with the level of penalty markers.
Oh, absolutely. It's just one of those things, but the players have to do better in terms of their discipline and understanding the rule.
2nd and 20, draw play. And it's Ben Tate trying to get to the 15-yard line. Well, the Browns still have their 3 timeouts. I'm not sure they're going to take a shot here now. The Raiders are going to use their 2nd timeout as the clock starts to become their friend in this scenario with a minute 41 remaining. There's Derek Carr. Oakland looking for its first win as they try to end this 12-game losing streak that dates back to last season. Carr trying to stay positive. Had a chance to meet with him yesterday. Just a naturally positive kind of kid.
Yeah, he walked into the room. He didn't look like a guy who was quarterbacking a team that's 0-6. Very optimistic. Going to continue to learn and grow.
May have another shot here. 3rd and 15. They keep it on the ground to Tate. So Carr's going to get a chance. 1 timeout for Oakland. A minute 35 to play. And now the Raiders winning the battle of field position. They'll take their final timeout. Well, when was the last time the Raiders won a football game? You have to go all the way back to week 11 of last season. Matt McGloin, currently listed as their 3rd quarterback, 3 touchdown passes in his first career start. As they defeated the Houston Texans 28-23, they have not won since. Longest losing streak since 1961-62. And the Browns, meantime, trying to avoid the indignity of losing to a winless team in as many weeks. Landing on the punt. TJ Carey back deep for the Raiders. Carey's going to play it. Cuts back up the far side, breaks the tackle, and dragged down at around the 38-yard line. 50-yard punt from Lanning and a return of 8. So let's see what Carr does in this scenario. No timeouts for the Raiders. At a minute 24 remaining.
Well, we saw him move the ball on the previous possession, and they were able to do it without really running the football. It was just real good reads from Derek Carr, throwing the ball over the middle of the field, getting the ball out of his hands very quickly. So someone's going to have to win on the outside one-on-one. We saw it from James Jones matched up against Joe Hayden. Some of the other receivers also are going to have to begin to win their one-on-one matchups.
Hard man. Hey, 51's down. Hard man.
Carr slings it over the middle. It's his man. It's Holmes inside the 35-yard line as Carr burns him for 30. Justin Gilbert on the tackle.
And this throw from Derek Carr, boy, was it a heater. You can see the arm strength as he hit Holmes in stride, matched up against the rookie corner Gilbert, winning that one-on-one battle we talked about.
Off. Let's go.
See Carr's numbers already in the range of Janikowski. Precious seconds coming off the clock. Raiders are out of timeouts. Draw play, McFadden.
They didn't get it off in time. Carr took a bit too much time trying to set the protection, trying to read the defense.
Sally, you have to be so careful here without any timeouts remaining.
Ball start. Offense. Number 89. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still first down. By rule, this penalty requires a 10-second runoff. Please set the game clock to 34 seconds, please. 34 seconds.
The reason why you want that runoff, simply because you don't want the penalty to stop the clock and give them an opportunity to set the offense. So they're going to run off 10 seconds. James Jones jumped.
That brings us down to 34 seconds left. Again, no timeouts for Oakland. 1st and 15. Carr, back shoulder throw. What a catch! Kenbrell Tompkins reaching back for it right at the marker. Clock continues to run. 16-yard pass play. Carr scurries into the line of scrimmage. Will throw it to the turf, stop the clock at 18 yards. What a catch by the former Patriot Tompkins.
Yeah, we said someone's going to have to start winning some one-on-one battles. Matched up against Hayden. Look at this one-hand grab on the back shoulder throw. One of the more difficult plays to defend against. Even with Hayden draped all over him, Tompkins able to haul it in with that back hand, making the one-hand reception.
Magic trick by Tompkins gives him a 2nd and 10. They mark it just outside the 22. No timeouts for Oakland. Have to be awfully careful here. Carr, short pass over the middle. They'll have to hurry to the line of scrimmage.
Now they got to spike it. They got to spike it.
Carr telling him to just relax. Gets into the line of scrimmage. 2 seconds left, and here comes Sebastian Janikowski. And even there, small example of Carr not panicking in that situation.
We told you he's more advanced, and Tompkins was getting up complaining, and he was the guy that really needed to get up to the line of scrimmage and get set. So you can see the rookie quarterback is more experienced than some of the other guys in the huddle.
38-yard attempt from Janikowski, hit earlier from 46. Seabass's kick perfectly through the uprights. 5 field goals, the story in this first half. As that takes us to the intermission, Oakland 6 unanswered points, 9-6 Cleveland in front at halftime. We'll be back with the Verizon Halftime Report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Nine-6 are score at halftime. Cleveland in front, but the Raiders with 6 unanswered points. Spiro Dita, Solomon Wilcots back with you in our CBS booth. Started slowly, did the Raiders offensively. Couple of field goals. Carr started to get comfortable. How do they win the game in the second?
You know, I think they've got to put the game in the hands of Derek Carr. And Cleveland, they've got to be able to run the football. Only 17 yards rushing in the first half. You get the sense that if either offense had to become solely reliant upon the quarterback making plays, you get the sense that the Raiders with the younger Derek Carr is more suited to really just throw the football and manage the offense to get the ball into the end zone. He looked good in the first half. He's going to have to be careful, avoid the turnovers here in the second half, but his defense need to shut down Cleveland from running the football if the Raiders are going to have a chance of winning this game here in the second half.
Big injury note for the Browns. Jordan Cameron, concussion. His day is over. Solomon, as we take a look at the first half numbers. Jankowski boots it away. And Marlon Moore watches it sail through the back of the end zone. So the Raiders, if you've just joined us, lone remaining winless team in the NFL. Brian Hoyer, meantime in Cleveland, trying to bounce back from a very disappointing 24-6 defeat in Jacksonville last Sunday. Hoyer suffering through his worst appearance as a Brown in that game. Solomon, how did he look to you in the first half?
I thought he looked better, and I thought he was able to work the play-action pass. And I don't know why the Raiders defense are biting on these play-action fakes when Cleveland hasn't been effective running the football. No sense in biting toward the line of scrimmage until they begin to run the football more effectively.
This is Ben Tate, ineffective in the first half. 7 carries, 6 yards. As you see the first half possessions for the Browns.
And then they did have the 11-play drive for 78 yards. They had to settle for the field goal. So they've been able to sustain some drives, but they haven't been able to produce down inside the red zone with Jordan Cameron out. They're going to have to find another weapon, someone who can get open in that short intermediate portion of the field to be able to get the ball into the end zone.
Play action from Hoyer. Buys himself some time, nowhere to throw, runs out of bounds. Excellent coverage down the field. Solomon, it's surprising that the play action has worked even a little bit with the ineffective ground game for Cleveland.
There's a couple of things missing from the Cleveland Browns offense, especially today. Their inability to run the football, as you talked about, and their ability to produce real big explosive pass plays for Kyle Shanahan's offense. Getting the ball down the field. They missed on an opportunity in the first half to get the ball to Travis Benjamin, but other than play action pass, they're not taking any shots throwing the ball down the field.
Browns, you see, just 1 for 6 on third down today. Hoyer over the middle, wobbly pass, nearly intercepted again. So a quick 3 and out for the Browns to start the second half. Off the hands of Brown, the corner. And the Browns will punt.
Yeah, and see, they're in that bunch formation. Number 16, that's Hawkins clearing out so that they can bring, look, Gabriel underneath, but he doesn't fight across the face of the defender. The ball goes down for an incompletion. They've got to find a way to stretch the field in order to open up those underneath routes.
Terrell Brown, the Raiders cornerback, crossing the bay after 7 years with the 49ers. Making a play on third down as Oakland's defense getting off the field. This is Carey. Wants to play it, hugging that far side. And Derek Carr back onto the field after a 54-yard punt from Lanning in a 3-point game. Sun's starting to set here over Lake Erie. Just over a minute gone by, second half. First, second half possession for Derek Carr and the Raiders. 1st and 10 from the 30. Here's McFadden getting downhill. He almost yanked his helmet off as he gets to the 34. Let's get you our wisdom of Solomon here in week 8.
Take a look at the quarterback draft class in 2014. Blake Bortles, remember, he was the 3rd overall pick taken by the Jacksonville Jaguars, has already won a game as a starter. Johnny Manziel has only attempted 1 pass attempt as a pro, and Teddy Bridgewater, last pick in the 1st round, he's won for his football team. Derek Carr was taken in the 2nd round, has yet to get a win. 3 of the 4 guys that I've just mentioned have started a game so far this year, at least in the first month of the season, except for Johnny Manziel.
Quick screen pass to Jones, getting close to the 35-yard line. As we see what the tail of tape has looked like, Manziel basically has been a decoy to this point.
Yeah, he was taken with the 22nd overall pick. The Browns actually passed on Derek Carr. As you can see, the productivity is drastically different for both guys right now. Johnny Manziel simply has not had the opportunity that's been provided to Derek Carr.
He's down. 56 to Mike.
3rd and 5 from inside the 35. Carr flushed out. He was just going to throw it out of bounds. He's rarely made the big mistake, Solomon, to hurt his team. They had the good protection initially, and then Jabal Sheard come in with the pressure.
Yeah, you can't say enough about the poise he has. Vision down the field. He's told us, he says, I'm comfortable against blitzing defenses. He says, I've been around NFL defenses, at least watching tape, since I was in high school. You talk about the time spent with his older brother. He was watching just as much tape while his brother was a starting quarterback for the Houston Texans.
He said recognizing blitz patterns, something that he is most proud of, something he's most comfortable with. Awfully rare for a rookie quarterback in the NFL. Takes a Raiders bounce inside 30. 37-yard punt from Marquette King. Early stages, second half, 9-6, Cleveland in front.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL. And by Ford. Beautiful things happen when you go further.
Beautiful sunset over Lake Erie. Temperatures now starting to drop to right around 50 degrees. Isaiah Crowell, first time we've seen him, he goes play action. And then Crowell out of the backfield makes the catch. We just brought his name up, Solomon, during the timeout. Hadn't seen him till this point, and with nothing working with this ground attack, why not give the rookie a chance?
Yeah, we talked about it at the beginning of the game. They have a trio of running backs, and you see Terrence West on the sideline. They try to get his attention with inactivity, and in the meantime, Crowell has come in and produced huge for this offense when he has the ball in his hands.
Keep in mind, Jordan Cameron out with a concussion, if you've just joined us, late first half. Here's Crowell on second and short. You mentioned Terrence West. They inactivated him for the win, the big win over the Steelers a couple of weeks ago. Wanted to send him a message. Felt like when he wasn't getting the ball, Solomon, he wasn't giving Pettine everything he wanted.
Yeah, sometimes as a running back, you got to learn to be a good player when the ball isn't in your hands. What does that look like? How about blocking for the other guy when he's running it? How about pass protection? Doing the little things in an offense, and they got his attention with the inactivity because they were still able to run the ball even though he was inactive against Pittsburgh. The other guys ran the ball very well in the game they won without Terrence West.
Hoyer hit on the release, incomplete. Khalil Mack coming right from the edge, and the 5th overall pick in the last NFL draft, making a huge defensive play.
Take a look, he's going to shoot the gap. Going to get into the face of Hoyer, forcing the early and errant throw. Quarterback pressure provided by the rookie linebacker from the University of Buffalo.
Mack very quickly and already has become their best run defender. That time making it happen as a rusher off the edge. Lanning had a huge 50-yard punt earlier. TJ Carey standing back deep inside his own 20. Fair catch signal. Carey catches at the 22-yard line. 41-yard punt from Lanning as Derek Carr comes back onto the field. Raiders down 3. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Well, neither team able to get into the end zone till this point. 5 field goals, all the scoring we've seen. 9-6 as the Raiders' second-round draft choice, Derek Carr, back onto the field. 1st and 10 from the 22. Pitch to McFadden, cuts back, and a quick defensive recovery by Carlos Dansby as we get a late penalty marker. 3-yard run by McFadden.
Holding. Offense. Number 77. It's a 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Zali's been that kind of day for this Oakland offense.
Absolutely. One mistake after another. There's the interception thrown by Matt Schaub on the big field goal. They were stuffed on 4th and 1, and then not protecting the quarterback, forcing him to just throw it away or eat it. One thing after another for Tony Sparano. Trying to change the team, trying to change the culture, trying to help the Raiders get their first win of the 2014 season.
6 losses to start the year. 12 straight defeats dating back to last season. Empty backfield, McFadden bottoming a picture split. Carr leveled. Ball is loose. It was Paul Kruger who had the sack earlier. Looks like the Raiders have recovered the football. Wisniewski able to fall on it. So Carr, who has not had to deal with a lot of pressure this season, never saw Kruger coming.
Yo, there's Kruger right there. Look, see, he's looking clear to the other side. And what did Sparano tell us? No free runners to the quarterback. Now, this is as free as it gets. They left Kruger unblocked. It was one of the things they talked about. Look, the right tackle, Khalid Barnes, had no business double teaming down to the inside. He's got a fan to the right and pick up Kruger.
And now the fans of this great football city making themselves heard. Raiders forced to burn their first timeout. And you saw Carr's reaction, Solomon, after that sack. Boy, he felt that stick from Kruger.
Yeah, because Khalid Barnes, he expected the right tackle to do his job and pick up Kruger. The one thing that Sparano talked about is when we met with him yesterday, no free runners to our quarterback. He knows that's what Mike Pettin wants to do. He and Mike Pettin coached on the same staff under Rex Ryan with the New York Jets. They had battles in practice. They would go over some of these same things. He knows exactly what's in the mind of Mike Pettin. Sparano knows you've got to protect and block every single guy on the line of scrimmage. The right tackle, Khalid Barnes, allowed the free runner to get to the quarterback, Derek Carr.
Second and 23, Carr nowhere to go. He just spikes the football into the turf.
Now this play was dead on arrival. DOA. Carr is smart to just get rid of it. He was not going to take a sack, not going to be tackled in his own end zone. They were trying to get, look, go ahead, they're going to roll out to the right. And look, see, they don't even get anyone out to that side. No one's open. No one even came out to run the route. So Carr's going to spike it and live to fight another day.
Not many plays in the book for 3rd and 23.
That's exactly right, Spiro. This is 3rd and forever.
Play clock down to 0. You saw Carr trying to get the attention of Wisniewski, who never heard him because of the crowd noise.
Snap, delay of game, offense, half the distance to the goal, still 3rd down.
And center, an experienced center like Wisniewski, he also has to watch the clock because it's a silent count. He's got to be able to see the clock. See, he's got to be able to snap that ball when Carr expects it. So he's like the quarterback of the offensive line. He's got to be more buttoned up in understanding the time clock.
Raiders in this situation just hoping not to make a drastic mistake on 3rd and 28. Draw play, McFadden trying to pick up any positive yardage he can. He's out past the 10. Taking some tacklers with him on his back. 9 yards on the ground as Marquette King and the Raiders punt team onto the field.
And why do you run it there, Spiro? Simply because you can see things are kind of getting a little bit out of hand. The offensive line, a little bit out of kilter. The chemistry is shaking just a little bit. As you can see, Sparano yelling at his offensive lineman. So now you just run it, calm the team down, create room to get a clean punt off. That's why you want to run it on that 3rd down play.
Travis Benjamin, who lost his punt return job earlier in the season after a couple of fumbles, back in that role today. Fielding from his own 37. Benjamin cutting back, cuts back again. Excellent coverage. Football comes loose. A pile ensues at the 30. Who's got the football? It was Jameis Olawale who jarred it loose, but the Cleveland Browns fall on the football.
Wow, they are lucky.
Benjamin trying to make something happen after the 51-yard punt from King. Stay with us.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by TD Ameritrade. And by Dumb and Dumber 2, starring Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels. In theaters November 14th.
Each team with 2 3-and-outs. No first down since halftime. If you like defense, you've come to the right place. 1st and 10. Hoyer throwing from his back foot to Austin. Catch and run, first down, and a lot more. Up that Cleveland sideline, Austin goes for 22 yards as the Browns move the chains.
Well, they needed this play. They needed something to wake up this dormant offense here in the second half of the ball game. Miles Austin is able to separate. Hoyer's able to find him. These Cleveland Browns, they're trying to avoid losing to a winless team in consecutive weeks. A streak of games where they feel like they have to be able to put some in the win column.
Only a game out of first place entering today in the AFC North. Pitch play, West going backwards. So they lose one. It'll be 2nd and long coming up. And you see the critical 3-game stretch coming up. The loss last Sunday. They have to play Tampa Bay next week. And this is a critical stretch, Solomon, where they have to gain some ground.
Entering that stretch, those 3 teams had 1 win combined between the 3 of them. And then they lose to Jacksonville last week.
High snap, Hoyer fielding over the middle. It's incomplete. Off the hands of Benjamin, who just fumbled the punt a moment ago. And what does Kyle Shanahan dial up here on 3rd and 11?
And I want to go back, because how important is it for Cleveland to emerge as a winner? As we take a look at Kyle Shanahan trying to draw up those plays. Remember, they lost last week to a winless Jacksonville team playing with a rookie quarterback. And now they're playing another winless team in the Oakland Raiders playing with yet a rookie quarterback. If you're Mike Pettin, you're the Cleveland Browns, you got to at least come into these games feeling like, hey, we've got to be able to take advantage of those opportunities.
Penalties whistle to play dead. This one against the Browns, it'll be a false start.
Yeah, and you get moments like this. The Browns have to play better.
False start. Offense, number 68. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Well, that's Nick McDonald. And as you see Cleveland trying to avoid being the first team to ever lose to back-to-back clubs in consecutive weeks after week 7. It's never happened.
In the 95-year history of the league. You mean that's never happened? Wow. Mike Pettin doesn't want it to be his guys, that's for sure.
Only a 3-point lead with inside of 8 minutes left in the quarter. Hoyer steps up in the pocket, completes. That's West. Inside the 45, takes on a hard hit at the 44 for more. 10 yards, well short of the first down, as the Raiders defense gets off the field.
A really nice effort by Terrence West. This is what they talked about, wanting more from him. Ball's not in his hands, but watch the route. Running a good route, getting open, turn around, and then trying to create some positive gains after making that catch.
Well, you knew the absence of Alex Mack would loom large for Cleveland's offense. Not sure anyone thought it would have this kind of impact. Suddenly their running game has come to a screeching halt. And Brian Hoyer and their offense has looked awfully exposed over the last 2 weeks. They're caught by Carey. Derek Carr and the Raiders down 3 when we come back. Mike Pettin's Browns 3-point lead over the Raiders. Derek Carr onto the field, again pinned back inside his own 10 to start a drive. Play action. Screen pass to McFadden. Breaks a tackle, taken on a tackler at the 15-yard line. Again using that frame to pick up 7. A frustrating day for these two coaches who know each other very well. Spent 1 year together on Rex Ryan's staff with the Jets. Mike Pettin on the defensive side of the football, and Tony Sparano, offensive coordinator. Can we get Tony a step stool, by the way? We met with Mike Pettin yesterday, and he said, look, we're both 2 hot-blooded Italians. I'm more likely to get an ulcer because I keep those emotions in. Sparano, a guy who wears his emotions on his sleeve, as we already have seen today. Draw play, McFadden not able to get to the ends. They dump him for a loss. Hayden getting there first.
Hayden was able to set the edge, defending the run. And this is where I think Hayden don't get enough credit for his tenacity playing as a secondary member. He's going to come out here and watch him come up and contain, and is willing to be a tackler, not just a cover guy. He knows how to get physical against some of the bigger running backs in the National Football League. Now the crowd here is getting excited.
Third and 6. Over the middle, McFadden makes the catch. Had Kirksey draped all over him. McFadden, the first down reception, 10 yards through the air.
And how about Carr, understanding he felt he had a matchup advantage. Kirksey, the linebacker against McFadden, who gets across the face of the defender. Once you do that, it's an easier throw for Carr to make. And what a catch from Darren McFadden, with Kirksey providing, I think, really good coverage. As you said, he was draped all over him.
Hey, 56! Hey, 408.
Maurice Jones-Drew giving McFadden a blow. Tompkins in motion on 1st and 10. Here's Jones-Drew, just trying to get back to the line of scrimmage. Craig Robertson, the inside linebacker, in on the tackle. Back to New York in an update with JB and Bart.
What has gotten into Roethlisberger?
I don't know, but they got 11 in Pittsburgh. He finds Martavius Bryant for the 2-yard touchdown pass. I set up for a 49-yard pass by old reliable Heath Miller. Pittsburgh up 42-20.
Spiro and Solly, I think they're reacting to Coach Cowher calling them soft. Back to Spiro and Solly.
Hey, JB, with those uniforms, you can't call any of those Steelers soft.
See the standings in the AFC North. Browns starting the day just a game back in the loss column. Carr play action, 2nd and 9. Good coverage down the field. Carr throws it. Has a man. It's Reese. Wide open with the over-the-shoulder catch. 19 yards and an Oakland first down. And again, the arm strength of Carr on display.
Look, there's Reese right there. He's going to come all out of the backfield. He'll just be sitting and waiting. Wide open. Look at him. Comes out. They drop coverage to ball. Sheard's got to go ahead and stay with him. And he does it. And Reese is able to not only catch it, but pick up a first down. What about the awareness of Derek Carr to find him?
Harder throw than it looks. Across his body off of his back foot. 1st and 10. Carr kind of stumbled on the release that time. Looking for Jones. It'll be 2nd and 10.
They were anticipating that back shoulder throw to James Jones. But here's a guy, look, vision down the field. He gets rid of the ball quick, even with pressure coming in his face.
Solly, the one common denominator between these two very proud franchises is their really eternal search for a quarterback. It's been a rough day for the offenses, but really fascinating to see how they kind of navigate their way through here and finish. Carr for Oakland and Hoyer for Cleveland. 2nd and 10. McFadden. Physical game continues. He gets to the 45-yard line.
Talk about the eternal search for a quarterback. It's been a long time. They've been searching for quite some time, haven't they?
21 starting quarterbacks for the Raiders since 1998. Cleveland right behind them. Both hopeful that they finally have their guys. Hoyer hopelessly looking on. It's been a struggle. There's Johnny Manziel, the 22nd overall pick. And now Carr on 3rd and 8 with his Raiders down 3. Blitz coming. Carr has his man wide open. It's Tompkins. Most extensive action for Tompkins since coming over from New England. First down, 11-yard pass play.
Yeah, what they're going to do, look, they clear out, and then he comes right underneath. Right there, wide open. And Carr finds him right away. Doesn't waste any time, no hesitation in ripping that ball out to Tompkins and creating the first down.
Released by New England on October the 4th, debuted for Oakland in Week 6 against the Chargers. Did not have a reception before today for Oakland.
You can see how efficient Derek Carr has been on this drive.
9th play of the drive, McFadden gets inside the 40. Talked to Carlos Dansby yesterday, and he talked about the running style of McFadden. Says he's a downhill guy. Once he gets going, Solomon, very, very difficult to bring him down at 6'1", 220.
And right now, you just get a sense that this Oakland Raider football team, they're starting to gained some momentum. They're starting to move the ball, and Carr is becoming much more efficient in terms of throwing the ball, finding the open receiver, and playing very well here on the road in the second half.
Oakland looking for its first win since week 11 of last season. 2nd and 5, little quick slant. That's caught Denarius Moore, his first reception today. Only his 11th of the season. As we move under 2 minutes left in the quarter.
Very tough to get pressure on the rookie quarterback when he's throwing the ball very quick. He's got a good feel for the pass rush, as he told us. And the ball is coming out really quick before this defensive line, which had been decimated by injury, Spiro. Barkevious Mingo, he's yet to be able to get to the quarterback. We saw Kruger get to the quarterback once, but no consistent pressure on Carr in this game.
First down pass to Moore, gives it a 1st and 10. Carr, quick release to Reese. Brought down low at the 30. Buster screened on the tackle. And a long extended drive. Haven't seen too many of these today for the Raiders.
And you notice those quick passes by Carr. Just really quick, nice and quick. Everything clearly defined for the young quarterback. And when you can get rid of the ball this quick, it makes it tough for the big defensive linemen to get any kind of pressure. And they're starting to grasp for air just to try to get any pressure on Carr.
Carr 6 of 7 on the drive for just over 60 yards. 2nd and 6. McFadden has some real estate. Loses the football. Cleveland has it. It's Hayden. Hayden across the 45 and brought down just short of the 50 by Jameis Olawale.
They call Dante Whitner the enforcer. He came up from the back end and laid a lick on Darren McFadden. That ball just shot out like a torpedo right into the hands of Joe Hayden. Now take a look. He's going to come up from here just as McFadden comes back right there. Now, this is just incredible. Coming from the second level like a missile right there. Ball shoots out, and Hayden's able to recover. This is why he's a great intimidator, excellent tackler, being physical at the point of attack. This is why they signed him as an unrestricted free agent coming over to this Cleveland Browns secondary.
That's why you signed a guy to a $28 million contract. Major league hit. Hoyer wide open is his man. Hawkins down to the 20-yard line. 32 yards and a Cleveland first down, and how quickly the game turns for the Browns.
Just like that, momentum shifts back. Turnovers are the great equalizer, and it has given the momentum back to the Cleveland Browns as Brian Hoyer going up top and looking for more points as we head into the fourth.
9-6 Cleveland. Browns in front. Raiders were driving potentially for what could have been their first lead, but McFadden fumbles on a major league hit by Dante Whitner. And now Hoyer has the Browns knocking on the door. Tight end making a huge catch. It's Jim Dre right to the goal line. Looks like they'll mark him out back at the 5. 16 yards. And a Browns first down. It'll be 1st and goal.
And Hoyer takes one for the team here. He gets it right in the chops. Right there by Khalil Mack, but not before he gets rid of the ball to Jim Dre. Coming out, releasing as the outlet, able to make the catch and get it inside the 5-yard line.
Here's Tate, bouncing to the outside, picks up a couple. Keep in mind, if you've just joined us, the Pro Bowl tight end for Cleveland, Jordan Cameron, lost in the second quarter to a concussion. So we've seen Barnidge and Dre. As Cleveland, Solomon trying to get some breathing room on the scoreboard.
And Cleveland has struggled down inside the red zone. They did last week against Jacksonville. They've struggled even in this game, where they've yet to come away with a touchdown, having to settle for 3 field goals. And so they've got to be able to turn this possession down inside the red zone into points in the form of a touchdown.
No touchdown for either team. Hoyer, and they finally punch it in. It's Hawkins for 6. So the McFadden fumble leads to the Cleveland touchdown, 4 yards to Hawkins.
Oh, look, he's just going to come right off and shoot to that pylon. Nice throw, great awareness by Hoyer, finding the open Andrew Hawkins.
2-possession lead for Cleveland, point after by Cundiff. And just like that, 10-point lead for the Cleveland Browns. All made possible by the all-star hit by Dante Whitner, ferocious. You're watching the NFL on CBS. First touchdown as a Cleveland Brown for Andrew Hawkins, only the 5th of his career and first, Solomon, since 2012.
Came in as their leading receiver in terms of receptions and yards. As you mentioned, had yet to have one for a touchdown, so it's good to see him be able to replace Jordan Cameron as a red zone weapon.
Long kick fielded by Carey, back in the end zone for Oakland. Week 8 continues with Sunday Night Football tonight, 8:30 Eastern, Green Bay, New Orleans on NBC. And then tomorrow, Monday Night Football on ESPN, NFC East battle between Washington and Dallas. Well, Derek Carr had him driving earlier before the McFadden fumble. And the turnover is now becoming a major storyline, with the Raiders down 10 early stages of the 4th.
56!
Oakland had to burn a timeout earlier. How does the rookie perform under this set of circumstances on the road in Cleveland? Short pass caught by Reese, makes a guy miss, close to the 30, about a yard short. 9 yards through the air to Reese.
Only a 10-point game here, Spiro, so if you're Carr now, you've got to be able to try to take some shots. Remember, they have receivers who can get deep. If you're Tony Sparano, remember, this is a Cleveland Brown defense that play a high percentage of press man-to-man coverage. You've got to take shots and give your receiver an opportunity to make a play, given the arm strength of the quarterback, Derek Carr.
180!
Rivera in motion on 2nd and short. McFadden has the first down. So this is the 3rd game since Tony Sparano took over for Dennis Allen, who was fired on September the 30th. They've lost the 2 games entering today, but he has said they've started to show signs. We talked to a couple of their players. They said that the vibes in the locker room have been better. But Sparano said, look, the one thing they need at this point is the validation that comes with that first win.
Absolutely. And with change, you also need results. Because if you're going to ask players to do things differently, sooner or later, there has to be a payoff in the form of winning football games.
Carr slings it far side. What a catch! Andre Holmes will get a penalty marker. 16 yards if it stands.
Pass interference. Offense. Number 18. Penalty. Replay. First down.
OPI, so when the offensive player, if he initiates contact to push the defender, that's what the official's looking to right there. And I think that's what they're going to call. They're saying that Holmes initiated contact to get separation from Joe Hayden.
So a 16-yard gain turns into a 1st and 20.
But if you're Carr and if you're the Raiders, those are the opportunities you're looking for. One-on-one down the field and take a shot when you see one-on-one coverage.
A fake to draw to McFadden. Reese losing yardage after the catch to Sean Gibson, who is coming on and has had some kind of a stretch for Mike Pettin in this defense.
Don't you just enjoy watching Tashawn Gibson grow and become the player he is? Even when we talked about it, he gave a lot of credit to Dante Whitner for being a tenacious player, tackling like that, if you will. He said he learned a lot from the veteran Jim Leonhard in terms of the overall football IQ to make plays on the ball. But Tashawn Gibson, he's developing into the complete package that you want in a safety.
3 picks in the last 2 games, 5 to lead the NFL this season. Carr, 2nd and 21, airs it out near side, incomplete. Looking for Tompkins.
Once again, you know, Carr said it. He says even if it's Joe Hayden, he respects Joe Hayden, but he said, if I get the one-on-one opportunity, I'm going to give my receiver a chance to make a play. And, Kimbrough Tompkins does have to do a better job of not getting cut off by the defender. We saw him get cut off earlier by Buster Screen. That time, Joe Hayden did a wonderful job of cutting him off and not allowing free access down the field.
We got 56.
Pass completed. Nothing after the catch. Rivera gets stuck. Chris Kirksey, the rookie linebacker from Iowa, with a huge hit.
Kirksey comes in the sub package. Watch, when the receiver goes inside, he knows that number 2 comes out. And that's why he's playing what's called a combination route, as he expected Rivera to come on that out route, and he was there for the lick, sending him back after making the tackle.
Marquette King, busy day. Punting from inside his 15. Leonard back deep for Cleveland. Signals fair catch, as Hoyer and company will have it from inside the 25. 52-yard boot from King, and a 10-point lead for Cleveland on CBS.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Papa John's, official pizza sponsor of the NFL. Toyota Care, scheduled maintenance, no cost. And by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
Nightfall in Cleveland, temperatures falling to right around 50 degrees. And that wind coming off Lake Erie. Week 8. Two proud franchises trying to fight for some respect in the AFC. Oakland trying to end this never-ending losing streak. And the Browns trying to get to 4-3. Hawkins catch and run. Rips it out past the 30. And how quickly things turn for the Oakland Raiders. Driving earlier. McFadden fumbling on this hit. Solomon from Whitner.
Yeah, Whitner forces the turnover. Ball goes to Hayden, and then a 32-yard hiccup quickly getting it to Hawkins, and then the touchdown. 2 turnovers by this Oakland Raiders offense has yielded points. 10 points have come off the 2 turnovers, and Andrew Hawkins is having himself a well of a football game.
First touchdown as a Cleveland Brown for Hawkins. When you see the points off turnovers, that has been the difference till this point. Trey, the tight end in motion. West! Biggest opening that he has had today. First down run for West, but a penalty marker may be bringing it back.
Well, he's running like a man who's determined.
Again, very lengthy delays between the time the penalties have been thrown and the announcement. Our referee, Ron Torbert. Solly, they're still talking about it.
Even the fans are getting arrested. It's the only thing that can silence the crowd, right?
Should we get the Jeopardy music playing? Whatever it is, it's not worth this kind of a delay, is it?
Well, you even hate to guess at this point.
Second one. Illegal formation by the offense. Tackle was initially not covered, then was covered by the tight end. That's a 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Mike Pettin getting an explanation. So 1st and 15, they will mark it at the 28-yard line.
They said he wasn't initially covered, but then he was covered by the tight end. Right there, okay, see, he was covered, but see, in man on the line of scrimmage is now the receiver, Hawkins.
West lines up in the back. I formation set. Gets it from Hoyer. Bounces off the first tackle, and he is pushed backwards by Sion Moore, the second-year linebacker. We send you back to New York in an update with JB and Bart.
Hey, Spiro and Solomon, no give up in the Colts.
Not at all. You're going to see Ahmad Bradshaw reverse field and take it in for the 12-yard rush. Indianapolis closed the gap 27-42.
Good hard rushing in that. Spiro and Solomon.
Surprising score there as Indianapolis see what they did, the 27-0 victory last Sunday against the Bengals. Today giving up 42 points in Pittsburgh. Hoyer all day to throw, nearly picked, it's caught. Jim Dre, huge break for Cleveland, 11 yards. Still well short of that first down marker. Moore wondering how he didn't have the pick.
Well, we saw a potential interception dropped earlier in the game by Carlos Rogers, and look, 55, C.O. Moore right here. These are the plays that the Raiders are not making on defense. So one of the reasons why they carry that record of 0-6, your inability to make the play, and then you allow the catch and run by Jim Dre.
3rd and 3 for Cleveland. Hoyer pump fake, devoured by the Raiders front. Justin Tuck with only his 2nd sack as a Raider.
Oh, they just cave in the entire left side of that offensive line. Look at Moore comes along through the A gap, and coming off the other side is Justin Tuck. And it was just a total collapsing. And I find it hard to believe just losing your center, Alex Mack, is going to really affect the entire offensive line. I know all 5 guys play together, communicate, and Mack is a very important player, but that was just all 5 guys getting beat up front on that play.
Mack breaking his leg a couple of weeks ago in the big win over the Steelers. Everything has gone south for this offense since. Gary taking on tacklers, getting close to the 30. A game that is still hanging in the balance. 2 timeouts for Oakland, plenty of time. Down 10 on CBS. 4 offensive possessions for the Raiders in the second half. 3 of them have gone 3 and out. Only good drive ended in that fumble by McFadden. They're down 10, 7:51 to play with 2 timeouts. And the parade of penalty markers continues.
Ball start. Offense, number 71, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, tonight, what really happened in the Dallas hospital that received the first Ebola patient? Find out from nurses who treated him, plus the rock band Foo Fighters on 60 Minutes tonight, only CBS. We're at First Energy Stadium, downtown Cleveland. Week 8, Browns and Raiders. Oakland in the midst of their worst start in more than a half century, 0-6. Cleveland trying to get to 4-3 and keep pace in the AFC North. 1st and 15, Carr is going to take a shot. Has his man. Excellent recovery intended for Tompkins. Joe Hayden, the Pro Bowl corner, with a fantastic recovery.
How about this? Derek Carr is not afraid to challenge the Pro Bowl corner, Joe Hayden, who's in great position. Now watch him get his head around to find the football. That's why you make a play in the National Football League without drawing the flag down the field. Look, great timing. High pointing the ball, getting the ball away from the intended receiver, Kimbrough Tompkins.
One of the reasons why Hayden is the highest paid cornerback in the NFL. Got a fingertip on it, and what could have saved an Oakland touchdown. 2nd and 15, Carr slings it to Rivera. Forced out of bounds at the 35, still about 4 yards short. 11 yards through the air to set up a massive 3rd down. Back to New York in an update.
Coming back from big deficits, not daunting for the Colts.
Yeah, man, I've seen this movie before. Andrew Luck finds Dante Moncrief for his first career touchdown pass, 33 yards. Pittsburgh, 42. Indianapolis, 34.
Spiro and Solomon, I know you know that.
It looks like John Elway, Captain Comeback, is Andrew Luck.
A game certainly of note for these Cleveland Browns. 3rd and 5, Carr from the gun. Over the middle, broken up. And once again, it's Hayden. What a matchup against James Jones.
And he is having himself one well of a game. A lot of things been said lately about Joe Hayden, and he doesn't like it. From the way he's playing, look at him knife in underneath against James Jones, prying the ball loose. And he's made one play after another here in this game, and Derek Carr hadn't shied away from going towards him. Look at that. 9 tackles, fumble recovery, couple of pass defense.
7th punt of the afternoon for Marquette King. Fair catch signaled by Leonard. It's going to take a Raiders bounce inside the 25 down to the 22. Oakland just cannot seem to get back on the score column, down 10 with under 7 left.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by T. Rowe Price, understanding the connections of a complex global economy. Invest with confidence. And by Verizon XLTE on America's largest, most reliable 4G LTE network.
Well, it's getting to be that time for the Raiders. Browns meantime trying to put the game away, up 10, or 6:48 remaining. Keep it on the ground. This is Tate. Creeping close to the 25 after a pickup of 3.
And how do you close out games? You got to do it by running the football. We've seen the Browns in this situation before, and the ability to eat clock has to be with, I think, sticking the ball into the belly of the back, whether it's Terrence West. Kyle Shanahan knows it. Keep the defense off the field. Don't allow Derek Carr to keep taking shots down the field at your cornerbacks in man-to-man coverage, where you got to eat clock by running the football and converting a new set of downs.
Dre, the tight end in motion. Tate. Sal, you wonder what's happened to this Cleveland rushing attack. They entered last week 3rd in the NFL in rushing. Today, they've averaged 1.3 yards per carry.
And it's got to be more than just about missing Alex Smith. And I thought last week when they moved Greco over to the center position, they had started Paul McQuiston at guard. Now they put Greco back, and the only guy you've got to protect is McDonald. You've got to be able to still get the runners to the second level. Too much penetration against this Cleveland Browns offensive line when they try to run the football today against the Raiders.
Mack, that broken leg ending his season. What a snag out of midair by Austin. First down, Cleveland.
Wow. Now that's making a play for your quarterback, Miles Austin. Watch TJ carry 38. He should have an interception here. He's about to pick it off, but he doesn't turn around and look at it. And so Miles Austin's able to just pluck that ball before Carey could take it, intercept it, or even knock it down. It's just a great play, great adjustment on the ball by Miles Austin.
And now the rookie Carey is the injured Raider defender. The Browns are just 1 of 10 on 3rd down before that play. Austin, the 2-time Pro Bowler, signing a free agent deal after 8 years with the Cowboys as they continue to look at Carey. It's been a physical game, Solomon, and already you've seen a couple of guys have their days end early. Jordan Cameron, the concussion. K'Wan Williams had to leave the game early. That Cleveland secondary. Well, coming up this week, Thursday Night Football, moving exclusively to NFL Network, and a pretty good one to start it off. Saints Panthers coming up Thursday, 8 Eastern on NFL Network. 1st and 10 as Carey helped off the field. Browns trying to put the game on ice, up 10 with under 5 minutes left. Tate takes the pitch, dragged down from the back. Mack got a hand on him, slowed him down, as this young man has quickly become the Raiders' primary run defender.
Well, now if you're the Oakland defense, you know they're going to run the ball. You know they're going to run it to try to eat time off the clock. Already allowed 1 first down on the catch by Miles Austin, but there's the trio of backs, and you can see we expected them to be more productive than what you've seen so far. So far on the day, they've only rushed for 27 yards on the ground for Cleveland.
Hard to believe. 2nd and 10. Tate again, trying to chew up some of that clock. Maybe force the Raiders to start taking some of their timeouts. They've got 2 left. And it looks like Oakland will burn its 2nd. Tony Sparano trying to get his first win, 0-2 since taking over on an interim basis. Had a chance to visit with him yesterday. Said something very interesting as he tries to change the culture. He's changed the practice schedule, Solomon. They've changed around the locker room. But the interesting thing he said yesterday was that everyone has to embrace change, not just the players, right?
Yeah, it's sort of as if, the entire organization needs to just really welcome change, the kind of necessary change that allow this team, I think, to move forward in the future and break maybe some of the bad habits that it's had. You can't continue to have one losing season after another like what we've seen with the Raiders and just believe you're doing everything the right way. I think you have to be able to embrace change. And he said he also wanted to eliminate some of the distractions around the players.
3rd and 6. Browns just 2 of 11 on 3rd down. Raiders coming. Hilliard completes, but they're short. Hawkins' excellent effort just to make the catch. Brought down by Terrell Brown, and the Raiders defense getting off the field.
Good coverage by Brown. Look at this. Nice little move there by Hawkins, but he has to dive for it. See, better ball placement may have allowed for him to create yards after the catch. Because he has to leave his feet and dive for it, Brown can get the touch before he's able to get across the 1st down marker. And Hoyer knows he could have thrown Hawkins a better football.
Raiders take their final timeout. We do have the 2-minute warning, of course, coming up, as they're going to put the football back in the hands of Carr. Down 10. Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS does double duty. First, the Chargers taking on the Dolphins, then Peyton and Brady taking center stage yet again. Check your local listings, beginning with JB, Tony, Bart, Coach, and Boomer on the NFL Today. Here's Lanning. Denarius Moore. Gonna play it from his own 11. Going nowhere. Craig Robertson making the special teams play as this Cleveland defense trying to hold like they've done all day.
Yeah, we said that they were going to have opportunities, the Raiders, against some of these one-on-one opportunities by the corners, but Justin Gilbert up to the challenge. Joe Hayden repeatedly up to the challenge. These receivers have not been able to win in their one-on-one battles against the likes of Joe Hayden, the 1st-round pick Justin Gilbert. Even Buster Skrine has had some pass defense when he's been locked up in man-to-man coverage. That's what it's come down to. Derek Carr needs his receivers to win some of these one-on-one battles.
Derek Carr, only his 7th career start. Can the rookie get them back on the board? McFadden going nowhere. Carlos Dansby, who played for Tony Sparano in Miami. Pro Bowl player, All-Pro. Making the play on 1st down.
And the clock is ticking. And that's why you got to take shots. You got to begin to do so. And around the sideline where your guy can catch it and get out of bounds.
Raiders are out of timeout. 2nd and 10. Carr steps up, runs into his own guy. Going backwards again. Lost the football, and the officials say Cleveland has it.
And why did he lose it? His guy is getting knocked back into him. Pressure by Barkevious Mingo, Austin Howard, number 77. It's going to be the guard getting knocked right back into Carr as he's trying to climb the pocket. Look, see, he steps back, and that's when the ball comes out. And it's the only time where we've seen Carr sort of outside of himself. Right there, you can see Howard step back into Carr, but see, Carr's not carrying the ball properly. He's got to have it in both hands when you're playing in a crowded pocket. He had it in one hand. That's why when he bumped into Howard, Howard was able to jar the ball loose.
So Barkevious Mingo, the 6th overall pick in 2013, makes the recovery. And Carr, who had been sacked only 4 times all season, sacked 3 times today. There's Tate. 2nd fumble lost by Oakland. In the 2nd half, had that long drive earlier. McFadden coughed it up. And now the Raiders can't stop the clock. Out of timeouts. Down 10 with 3 minutes left.
I want to go back to the play by Derek Carr. When you're a quarterback and you begin to feel the pass rush, whenever we talk about ball carriage for the quarterback, you have to hold it in 2 hands, Spiro. High and tight is the rule, not just for running backs, but quarterbacks when they're trying to make a play from the pocket.
Browns trying to keep pace in that brutal AFC North. Saw Cincinnati defeat Baltimore earlier. And the Steelers about to beat the Colts. Tate punches it in. And the Browns put this game on ice.
The patience of Ben Tate Spiro pays off huge here. It's been a tough day for him with all the penetration and all the trash in the backfield of the Cleveland Browns. Now watch, he's going to cut it back. See, he finds the lane through the back door right there. And he just sort of been hunting and pecking his way all day, waiting for that kind of opportunity. Patience paid off.
Cundiff point after. Well, it certainly hasn't been pretty for the Cleveland Browns, but it looks like they're going to avoid the indignity of losing to a winless team for the second straight week. 23-6 after the touchdown burst from Ben Tate.
You know, Tate talks about it. He says it's about patience. He'll start it here, and then watch as he winds his way back as the defenders, they sort of run themselves out of the rush lane. And watch, they'll overrun it. The linebackers get trapped to that side. Look at him cut it back. And that's just really good reading. Read, recognition, and great patience by Ben Tate. He's the veteran of the bunch, and he's the one that finds the end zone.
Third rushing touchdown for the fifth-year vet as the frustration for Tony Sparano and the Raiders continues. Story today, 3 Oakland turnovers leading to the points for Cleveland.
Had a big day rushing the football for the Browns. Only 40 yards on the day, but good enough. Combined with the turnovers by the defense, the offense was good enough to turn those turnovers into points. 3 turnovers resulting into 17 points for the Cleveland Browns on the day, and Hoyer just doing enough to protect the football and manage the offense.
Solly, you look ahead to Oakland's schedule. They're 0-6 coming into today, really after a soft part of the schedule. Brutal stretch coming up for the Raiders. You wonder where that first win is going to come. Latavius Murray takes a knee, couple of yards inside his own territory. And this is a brutal stretch coming up. They go to Seattle.
Really?
Have to face the 12th man next Sunday. It doesn't get any easier after that.
Those last 2 teams, or I should say next 2 teams up, were in the Super Bowl last year. And San Diego and Kansas City were playoff teams from 1 year ago and playing above 500 this year as if they're heading back to the postseason. So you're right, a tough stretch of games coming up for the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah, hey, hard line.
Carr 27 of 39, 243. Hasn't turned it over, but hasn't been able to get the Raiders in the end zone either. Carr over the middle, trying to thread the needle to Jones. It's incomplete. No timeouts left for the Raiders. Incompletion stops the clock. 2:22 left. And this long losing streak continues. We visited with Charles Woodson, who has experienced every high imaginable, winning a Super Bowl, Defensive Player of the Year. Sally, you asked him how difficult the stretch this has been. And without exaggeration, he paused for about 20 seconds before he proceeded to articulate just how difficult the stretch this has been for he and his franchise. Carr's pass, again, incomplete.
Yeah, one of the reasons why he was so disappointed, he said, you know, we went out and made a lot of acquisitions during the offseason, signing of some really good veteran players on both sides of the ball. He said we had high hopes, high expectations, and so this 0-6 start has been really disappointing for a guy who's a 17-year veteran to be on an 0-6 and what looks like getting ready to be 0-7 when they had such high hopes after bringing in so many veterans. He just said it's mind-boggling, and he really was at a loss for words.
3rd and 10. Carr nearly picked again. Couple of near picks that Carr has thrown today. 4-down territory here, down 23-6. Buster Screen was there.
Yeah, and Carr's just really trying to make something happen. Holmes got to present himself and catch this ball. Can't allow it to be picked off. It was thrown behind him. But we were talking to James Jones. He was saying, you know, in terms of the growth and the development of Carr, they hope that they can keep things consistent around him so that it's not an ever-changing carousel of coaches around this young, talented quarterback.
Carr on fourth down over the middle. It's caught. Jones. Penalty marker flies. Jones brought down at around the 37 by screen. 16 yards. We await the penalty. And this one looks to be against the Cleveland defense.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 22. The penalties declined, resulting in the play of the first down.
That screen, the fourth-year corner. Former fifth-round pick in 2011. Looks like one more play before the 2-minute warning. First and 10, Carr. Throwing on the run, and it is incomplete. Unable to locate Tompkins. Back to New York and an update with JB and Bart.
Indy stumbles on this one, Bart.
Yeah, man, Pittsburgh finding every way you can find to get a touchdown, to get points. They get to safety, 2 points, now making it a 2-possession game. Pittsburgh up 44, Indianapolis 34.
Spiro and Solomon.
Frantic comeback attempt by Luck. Hitting the snag late as they play in the fourth in Pittsburgh. Carr on second and 10. Right through the hands of Rivera, the starting tight end. 2-minute warning, 23-6 on CBS. 23-6, buck 59 left to play. 3rd and 10 for Oakland. Hoping for one last gasp behind their second-round quarterback, Derek Carr. Browns trying to get to 4-3 with a win. And Oakland mired in this 12-game losing streak dating back to last season. 3rd and 10. First catch for Bryce Butler. Who hasn't had a lot of touches this season. When he has had some awfully big plays. Had a 55-yard catch last Sunday. And here appears to be inches short.
This is just valuable experience for a quarterback like Carr.
Carr lunges for the first down. Raiders out of timeouts. Clock continues to run with 90 seconds left.
Yeah, for a rookie quarterback in this situation, managing the clock. The tempo in which they operate is Hughes is down on the play. Defensive lineman for Cleveland.
Browns have had a lot of issues with injuries. 4 of their top 5 run defenders, in fact, have dealt with injuries this season. We mentioned the return of Ataba Rubin back today from that ankle injury that sidelined in the last 2 games, and now Hughes is down. He's been bothered, Solomon, by a hamstring injury.
Phil Taylor battling injuries. Rubin, as you mentioned, has been battling injuries. And Armani Bryant out for the year, placed on IR, another talented player on that defensive line. Billy Wynn as well has battled injury. So it's a problem that continues to plague. Let's take a look and see what goes on with Hughes. They're going to roll up, look on that right leg on the ankle.
Oh, my goodness. Boy.
That could be painful now. It's big guys falling on the lower leg.
Oh, boy.
Of Hughes. Walking gingerly.
Sally, it really is amazing that you don't see that happen more often. And we certainly see it happen with high frequency, but how big these guys are, all that weight and the speed with which they play in such tight, close quarters, so dangerous.
Yeah, and a lot of people falling around your feet and your legs, and easily, if your foot, you're locked in. You have to be weighted as a big guy if you're going to hold ground on that defensive line. And while you're so weighted and dug in, if someone falls on your lower leg, these injuries can occur very easily.
Oh, it can be such a brutal sport at times. You see the frustration on that Oakland sideline. C.O. Moore, his face buried in his hands. With 1:27 left, and the Raiders down 23-6. First and 10, Carr finds Jones-Drew inside Cleveland territory. Jones-Drew doesn't want to go down. Proud back, trying to end his career on a high note with his hometown team. Bay Area native. Coming over from Jacksonville. Keep in mind, bonus coverage of Pittsburgh and Indianapolis is coming up on CBS. as we move under a minute left. Carr going sideline, finds Jones. Inside the 35, run out of bounds by Squeen, just shy of the 30. 15 yards and a Raiders first down.
I am impressed with some of the throws from Derek Carr, but take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Cleveland Browns. Tampa Bay next week, and then a home game against Cincinnati on Thursday Night Football. So they've got some work to do. It's a very tight race in the AFC North Division.
A lot of talk this week in Cleveland, Solomon, about, Cleveland after that very disappointing performance in Jacksonville. Was it an aberration, or, is this the same old Browns team that has finished 4-12 each of the last 2 seasons? This one, while it wasn't pretty, this is the kind of game that maybe in the past they've lost. And today they're going to get to 4-3.
Oh, they needed to win it. And, we talked to Mike Benton. He said it's been an angry bunch. They couldn't wait to get back on the field on Wednesday to get that bad taste out of their mouth after scoring only 6 points against the Jacksonville Jaguars and losing to a team, let's face it, they felt like they were better than the Jacksonville Jaguars. Felt like they should have won the football game, but didn't execute.
Carr thrown across the field. That's Rivera. Now the question moving forward for Cleveland has to be about the running game. Can they get back in gear? Because if they can't, 2 straight games, Hoyer has not looked nearly as effective. And really the same could be said for the entire offense.
You see Wilbur Montgomery, the running back coach here with the Cleveland Browns, talking to Ben Tate. He has tutored some really great running backs in the National Football League. And now with these young guys, they're going to have to continue to grow and develop.
Carr sacked for the 4th time. And that matches the number all season. Carr had been sacked 4 times in 6 games. 4th time Cleveland has gotten to him as we get a penalty.
Remember, here in the second half, Spiro, he's been forced to throw.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Offense, number 71. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is 4th down.
Menelik Watson penalized. For those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS and a game between the Raiders and the Browns. I'm Spiro Dedes along with Solomon Wilcots. Your score 23-6. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast. Also bonus coverage between Pittsburgh and Indianapolis is next. 4th and 11. Carr over the middle. Finds the tight end Rivera down to the 10. First down.
You see what you get from Carr when you're protecting. He's got laser accuracy as soon as this guy creates some separation.
Sally, they're so high on Carr. You mentioned the importance of having continuity. You think of a guy like Alex Smith, 6 coordinators his first 6 years. Have you seen enough from this kid that leads you to think he's the guy?
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, even when you talk to some of the Cleveland Brown coaches, they say he's got all the arm talent. I think Mike Benton said he had the best arm talent of any quarterback in this year's draft. And you can see on some of these throws. Now, it's about developing an organization and the talent and the team around him. Starts with the offensive line. Starts with having a run game and creating some balance in their receivers who can make plays with the ball in their hands.
2nd and goal. Carr trying to get them in the end zone for the first time. It's broken up by Gilbert, intended for Butler.
The first-round pick for the Cleveland Browns in the 2014 draft. Gilbert watching, read, and react. And this is something you hadn't seen from Gilbert in the first month of the season. Confidence had waned, had given up a lot of plays, even drawn a lot of penalty flags, but he's come on as of late, playing with greater confidence and greater awareness.
Raiders just hoping for something positive to take them to week 9. And their first touchdown. Holmes taking on tacklers. No signal. Touchdown Raiders.
Sure looks like a touchdown.
Had that monstrous game against the Chargers 2 weeks ago. Over 100 yards and the 2 touchdowns. Lunges in for 6 here.
Now, Gilbert's got to be more aggressive at closing the distance between he and the receiver and making a more certain and sure tackle. You got to be more physical in this opportunity there. You cannot allow Holmes to overpower you and drive you back into the end zone. See, 10 yards of space, close the distance. Now use the sideline and get him out of bounds. Gilbert's not able to do it. Holmes asserts his physicality and gets it in.
Janikowski puts it through. 23-13 with just 7 seconds remaining. So a 17-play, 80-yard drive for Derek Carr and the Raiders.
You know, I said earlier there was a wide receiver who's got to make a play with one-on-one against a defensive back. That was it. I mean, that was just a wide receiver hitch route. He catches it, and Holmes able to make a play after Gilbert made the play previously. Holmes able to break a tackle and still get in for a touchdown after making the completion for Derek Carr.
Told you earlier, this is a Raiders offense that has scored more than 14 points only once this season. It was that game against the Chargers. And it looks like they're going to fall short of that mark again today.
And what did I say for Carr? I thought it was a really good learning experience on that drive for him to at least show that he can manage the offense under 2 minutes, be able to engineer a drive when seemingly all is lost. At the quarterback position, particularly for a rookie, it's always about developing, continuing to grow, continuing to learn, and his willingness to fight in that kind of situation, I think it tells us something about him. Now the onside kick.
So they reset here, onside from Janikowski. And that one goes out of bounds at around the 45. A couple of penalty markers come in late as this one against Janikowski on the kick.
Kickoff out of bounds by the kicking team, number 11. Ball will be placed at the dead ball spot. First down, Cleveland.
Let's get you the updated standings. We'll give Cleveland the win, gets them to 4-3. Pittsburgh right now playing in the fourth quarter at home, up over the Colts. And boy, the Browns, Solomon, just a game back in that win column. Ugly ball game today for long stretches, but the Cleveland Browns defeating the Oakland Raiders get to 4-3 as they win it 23-13. Oakland now 0-7. They have lost 13 straight dating back to last season. Coming up, 60 Minutes and the nurses who treated the Ebola patient in Dallas, followed by new episodes of Madam Secretary, The Good Wife, and CSI. For Solomon Wilcott, Spiro Dedes, so long from Cleveland.